All right, we're at the same park as the original video that I did with this backtail backside flip. And now's the unfortunate part because I learned the trick in 2 different parks, right? And now I'm gonna wanna do this in the streets. So if I wanna do it in the streets, it's not gonna be enough that I did it on a park ledge. And to be honest, I could film something on the ledge that I'm at right now, but I wouldn't ever want to do this as a single trick because a backtail backside flip is not good enough to use as a single trick. So I'm gonna have to do this in a line, or I'm gonna have to do this on a ledge that goes off some stairs, a mellow hubba or something like that. And fortunate enough for me, at the skate park that I always skate at, Lake Street, or that I skate at most frequently these days, there's this marble ledge that you've seen me skate. Now, what are the differences, right? You guys might ask, because a lot of people ask me different things. I remember recently I posted an ollie up the 6 stair at Hollywood High, and somebody's like, but I see you ollie up the 5 stair and kickflip up the 5 stair here all the time. And like, it doesn't register to me because I started skating with 0 skate parks. Like, I think I was already in my first magazine before I skated my first skate park. So we didn't skate parks. We didn't have skate parks. I learned how to skate in the street. I only ever wanted to skate the street. In fact, I still struggle if I go to a wooden skate park or something. It's not even fun for me. And when we did start to get skate parks and I started skating really smooth ground, it felt weird. It was hard for me to get the right speed. It was just awkward. I would slide around a lot. So the difference between street and a skate park are obviously that the park is built for skating. So that's gonna mean different things. It's gonna mean that any ledge you're gonna skate is gonna have metal over the edge of it. It's also gonna mean that the ground in the skate park, it's usually coated to make it slick so that when you fall, you'll slide instead of just stopping and getting scratched and nicked up. Okay, so I didn't expect that to slide that well. It's a hot day, it's a bright day, we're right in the sun and there's nothing covering the ledge. So hopefully it keeps sliding like that and I don't have to use an excessive amount of wax. Seems to be both sliding and grinding pretty well. Now I got to get onto the back truck, so maybe a couple back 5-0s and then a back tail, and then I'll just start trying to flip out. I can't tell if that grinded or not, so I'm gonna do a couple more. Back tail time, and this will be kind of the test. So I'm gonna put a little bit of wax on my tail because I don't want to over wax the actual ledge and then just be sliding. The issue that I'm anticipating for this is that this ledge is pretty short and I can try to pop on a little quicker, but there's a crack that I have to deal with. So I'm gonna have to figure out the right combination of speed and everything to make this work. First backtail to fakie and it felt really good. So that is a promising sign. The only problem was when I was on it, the sun is so bright that I couldn't see. But maybe that won't be a problem, maybe it will. So I've lost count on how many backtails that is. I actually missed 3 of them, which is a hazard of filming yourself, but you know, I think I'm ready to start trying to flip out. I was gonna maybe do a shove it out, a big spin out just to get ready, but I think I can just start going for it. Before I get into that, if you're enjoying this, if these videos are helping you, consider joining my Patreon group where you can get one-on-one video lessons with me, and you can also take part in our Q&As. We do 2 of them a month. I also give a discount on my brand Collage Skateboards, which, by the way, if you want to support me in another way, you can pick up one of these, one of our shirts, one of our hats, one of our hoodies, anything like that from www.collagesskateboards.com. This is what I skate. You want to pop like me? I can't guarantee that it'll happen, but this is at least a part of the equation. You can also book lessons with me in person if you're in Southern California, or over video from anywhere through boardcontrolacademy.com. New angle started to overheat, so I had to switch it up. So I really liked the first angle, but I guess we'll have to make do with this one. Figured I might as well do one. So the ledge is proving to be slicker than I expected, which is good, because a lot of times when you're skating ledges in the summertime, it's like the worst possible time to skate ledges. It dries up all your wax, but I guess marble's a little bit different, so I'm thankful in that respect right now. That was the first attempt at kickflipping out. It didn't look like it. I'm gonna have to slow down a bit so I can contend with the short length of this ledge if I want to flip out in time. I think I've talked about it before. Us taller people, the time that it takes. Okay, so the phone started to overheat, so I had to turn it off for a little bit, and now we're gonna get straight back to it. Normally that's a really good speed, but since this ledge is short, I had to go a little slower than that, which is not ideal because I like that particular speed. That's another thing for you guys that a lot of you don't understand about skating street, is that you have to pick how fast you go based on certain quirks in the ground. There might be a crack here, there might be a crack there. You have to pop before or after. Now some people have infinite resources and they got people trekking along with them that have Bondo and all kinds of setups in the car, stuff like that. But when you're like me, you're out here by yourself, that's not the case. I got to make do with what I have. Close call. I almost did a bigger spin, which if you know anything about me, you know I cannot stand bigger anything. So that's that leaning forward issue that I talked to you guys about. And I got to get rid of that, because especially with the kickflip, it's harder to combat. I'm thinking of more things. For some reason, these big spins always been weird. Whenever I've kickflipped into them, it's less weird. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because I have a trick in mind. So I'm really standing up and I'm really leaning toward my nose when I land, and I'm having a hard time shaking it on this big spin. I should stop and just go straight to the backtail kickflip, but I'm being stubborn and I want the reps anyway, so I'm gonna keep going. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we have to flip out. And it's crazy when you struggle with the trick that you've done so many times, and also that you've done other variations of. Like, I've kickflipped in the backtail big spin out, but that's just how skateboarding is. And when you leave the skate park and venture out into the streets, it's more likely that tricks you can do like nothing, you'll struggle with. That's just the name of the game. That's why street skateboarding is a cut above everything else in my opinion. Okay, that backtail big spin battle didn't give me too much confidence, but we're gonna just dive head first into this, see what happens. Either I get it or I don't, right? There's only, right away this is short, this is very short. It's shorter than the other two ledges that I did this on. So if you can't tell, there's a big gap in the ledge from here to here. So I can't get on here, I have to get on here, right? Now the issue with this is there is a crack right here. So I can't start squatting until after that crack, meaning I usually get on about here because of how high I pop. And that's another thing where having pop can be a benefit, can also be a hurdle in a situation like this where me being a person with long limbs, my reaction time is slower than short people. Skateboarding is really a sport that's best for shorter people. So I've got to try to figure out a speed where I can actually slide and not stick, but have enough time to steady myself to flick out. And we'll see if it's even possible for me on this ledge. It might not be, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, so if you saw, I got a little happy because of the previous try and I went faster. And by the time I was ready to flick out, I was already off the ledge. So that's what I'm talking about, my reaction time versus, yeah, now you get it. Okay, there's one. I may or may not want to land one cleaner. My heel did hit the ground briefly on my front foot when I landed. It's not the worst thing for something like this, but I probably will try to get a cleaner one. But I'm happy because I got it. I was able to figure out the speed and the timing, although it did feel a little bit awkward. I am a little bit weirded out by the fact that I struggled less to stay on the board kickflipping out than with the big spin. Because the big spin out is a much easier trick for me, at least it should be. So that's a little weird. It just took me probably twice as long to big spin out of a backtail than to kickflip, which is kind of weird, but I'll take it. Reflexes are dying, so I'm gonna move back to the first angle I had, and I'm just gonna try until the phone overheats and then be done. I really like this angle better, so I am gonna keep trying until the phone overheats and hopefully I can get one from this angle because it looks way better in my opinion. So I don't know if you guys can tell watching this, I'll leave this part in, but I can tell I'm slowing down, and it's just being in this heat for so long. It's 1 p.m. I've been here since 10. Taught and then straight into skating. So yeah, I'm pretty beat, but I'm gonna go until this thing overheats. All right, guys. Clearly, the phone, I was using the phone instead of my actual camera. It did overheat, and actually it was in the nick of time because I was pretty spent by that point. That was like one of the hotter days that we've had recently. And yeah, I've been at the park teaching before that, just going trick for trick with my student, because that's kind of how I do things. Like, I've seen a lot of people that teach lessons and they're just kind of like, they're just kind of chilling and letting the student skate. But for me, it's like, especially the better the student is, like, I have to go trick for trick with them. So it's like, I'm gonna tell you the technique, then I'm gonna do the trick a few times, and then I'm gonna do the trick, and I want you to watch what I do and attempt to implement what I've taught you every single time. And sometimes it'll be a hour straight of just that. I think I had like 2 lessons, then I went straight into skating. I didn't stop. I don't stop, because at my age, once I stop and cool down, it's worse to try to ramp back up after I take an extended break than it is to just push through. But I was only able to get one of those backtail kickflip outs. One of the glaring issues that I noticed in my backtail kickflip is that I'm just dipping my head to the right way too much when I land, which is towards my front foot. So I'm gonna have to try to fix that. And I got another video that I'm working on that I've actually tried to record the intro for a lot of times, just kind of like trying to get the emotion out of it, because it's a topic that kind of pisses me off, and I don't like the way that the talking portion's coming out. So I've redone it a bunch of times. But yeah, it's like, just because you know what to do doesn't mean you're going to be able to immediately do it, right? Because I talked about this over on the Patreon. Consider supporting on Patreon if you get value out of these videos, because videos like this, where I'm doing trick, and then talking, trick, talking, it is actually a lot of work to talk that much while I'm trying something that's difficult. So yeah, if you want to support, you can join the Patreon. We do one-on-one Q&As over there. You can also pick up a deck from COLLAGESKATEBOARDS.com, book a lesson with me from BoardControlAcademy.com, or buy me a coffee. There's links to all that in the description. The Patreon members do get to participate in the Q&As. I'm going to film one of those later today, the second one of June. They also get a discount code for all the Collage Project products. So if you're interested in something like that, consider joining. But yeah, just because I know what to do, even me being someone with 27 years of experience, doesn't mean I'm going to be able to implement that right away, because I've got to correct the bad movements that I have built into my style. So I don't know how long it could take. It's going to be a journey. Like I said, I want to do this on a real street spot, a real good street spot. And if I continue to duck my head when I land, that's going to be a real issue, because when you go skate street, you got things like cracks. You got, the spot that I'm actually thinking of that I have in mind, it's a pretty high ledge, higher than the one in this video, and it lands on brick. And I'll level with you. I think the backtail flip out that I landed on the ledge, the higher ledge that was uphill in the first video I made on this trick, I think the ledge being uphill actually helped me roll away, because it took away some of the negative impact of me dipping my head to the right. So this is going to be a journey. I don't think I'll make another full video on this unless enough of you guys in the comments say you want to, or maybe I'll make it for Patreon specifically, because I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. And I've already made 2 videos on this trick. Maybe I'll make another one when I do go film it in the street. I'll talk about the experience or whatever. But look out for some vlogs in the future. I'm going to be out in Seattle, Club Distribution, who distributes my board company, Collage. We do this thing where we compete against other skate companies in the Pacific Northwest region. We did it last year. It was fun. I still got to put up that video. There's just so many clips that I never got around to editing it, but I will be, this year I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to upload every individual day's video. So I'm just gonna, as soon as we're done skating for the day, just dump everything, cut it into a vlog. That way I don't have to get home and have the daunting task of editing 3 or 4 days of nonstop skating down, and then just never get around to doing it, get other ideas for videos, film those, put that on the back burner. And then here it is a year later, and there's never been a video posted on it. But let me know what you thought about that process. I was only able to land one that day. It wasn't the cleanest one, although it wasn't bad. I do have a big foot. And so my feet are always hanging off the board in some way. Just when you wear a size 12, that's just how it's gonna go. But yeah, I'm still pretty happy with the progress I've been making, especially for a trick that's plagued me my entire career. But thank you for watching, and peace.